Learner is your number two.
It is.
How
I've
do
worn out a lot of bosses with a lot of questions.
How many things are you learning at once?
I'm just constantly curious. I'm a constantly curious learner, even in business reviews where when I'm meeting with whatever division and going over their results, it's always about asking questions. And I think the more senior you get in an organization, the questions you ask are more important than the answers that you give, because the leaders are the ones that should be making decisions, not I shouldn't be deciding for them or telling them what to do at this stage of an organization. So having learner is great because I'll ask them questions, but they'll then take those questions and figure out what they want to do with it. I'm not there to tell them what to do or how to do it, just to sort of make sure their thinking is as complete as possible, that they're not missing something, that they're being fulsome in their thinking and not just rushing ahead to a conclusion. But for me, it helps me be adaptable. I've gone to different countries, like I said, and different industries, and I can pick things up pretty quickly. And a lot of it's by asking questions. And I joke in the company that I use the "I'm new" phrase all the time. I've used it my whole career. So I'm new here, so can you please tell me about this or that? And when you say that, people will explain it to you. And they don't feel threatened because you're new, you're just trying to learn. And sometimes I say it, even though I want to test an idea, but I don't want the person to be defensive about it. So I just say, well, I'm new. And I remember my boss at one of my previous jobs said, why do you say you're new? You've been in this job for 3 years. You're not new anymore. I said, well, I've only been in the industry for about 5 years, and you've all been in the industry for 25 years. So I'm still sort of new. And so everyone laughed. But that, being that learner helps, I think, the entire groups make sure that their thinking is complete, and that sometimes somebody has an idea that they just weren't confident to throw on the table. And if they see me throwing ideas like that, then they say, well, okay, maybe I shouldn't be afraid to ask a question. Or because sometimes I'll ask a question and the answer is pretty obvious. And so they'll say the answer, and I'm like, oh, okay, I should have known that. But I don't even worry about it. It just doesn't bother me. I don't worry about having the question look silly or something like that. We're all part of the same team trying to win. And so it's just part of who I am. And like I say, some of my early bosses luckily tolerated me asking them all these questions. And it helps you build your judgment. For me, my business acumen has accelerated like earlier in my career because I used to ask a lot of questions. Because by asking questions, if the answer to my question is, well, that's a bad idea because of X, Y, Z, I say, okay, I've just learned something. And I would have, if I hadn't asked the question, I wouldn't have learned that answer. Maybe it would have taken me 2 more years to realize why that wouldn't have worked. Whereas I get the answer immediately. It just accelerates your.
So your learning is mainly sourced in asking great questions and continually asking
and reading.
questions.
So I'm constantly reading, and when I'm out at dinner, and I'm meeting a surgeon, I will ask them all kinds of questions. So I'm not there I'll tell them about our products whatever questions they ask me, but I'm trying to solve their problems or understand their world. And so it's rooted in asking questions and just being curious, or having a curious mindset. So I never sort of looked at my job as just inside these 4 little walls of the job description. I would always get involved in other projects or different teams. I get invited to. I remember one of my bosses said, why are you going to a photo shoot? You're in finance. Like, the marketing team invited me. And if I'm going to go to the photo shoot, I'm not just going to sit there. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to be inquisitive. And so it's just been part of who I am.